In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make these really awesome boomerang speed ramp effects inside of DaVinci Resolve. The key to perfect speed ramping inside of DaVinci Resolve is to stabilize your footage. So the first thing that we need to do is when we have our clip on the timeline is we're going to head over to Fusion to stabilize our footage. I know Fusion can be really intimidating, but just bear with me. Have our clip right here, press Shift Spacebar, type in planar tracker, create a planar tracker. Let's go to like the middle of this clip and we're going to press Set. We are setting where we want to start the tracking of the clip. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this guy, and I'm just going to create a mask around his helmet because I want to track his helmet. I'm going to go ahead and press Set again, just double checking, and change the hybrid point area into translation. Let's go ahead and track forward. Once it's tracked forward, go ahead and also track backwards. Now that our clip is nice and tracked, we can go ahead and play through it. And we're going to come over here from track. You think you'd click stabilize, but we're actually just going to click steady, and that will do the job. As you can see right here, we have some of the transparent background peeking through in the clip. So to fix that, press Shift Spacebar, type in transform, add a transform node, and we're just going to size up just a little bit and then push this over into the center. Maybe size up just a little bit more and just double check that there are no black frames on our clip. And you can see how well stabilized that footage is. Okay, we're going to head back into the timeline. We're going to right click and press New Compound Clip. And that is just basically taking everything that we just did into that clip right there and putting it into a brand new clip. So let's go ahead and press Create. And now we have this clip. And I'm going to go forward 10 seconds on the timeline right here. So you can see I'm at 10 seconds. I'm going to bring this marker over. If you want to create a marker, just go ahead and press M and it will create a marker for you. So now we're going to go ahead and go into Fusion so we can do all of our time remapping on this clip that we have stabilized and already turned into a compound clip. Go ahead, head into Fusion. And now as you can see, we're right there on our marker. And the node I want, press Shift Spacebar, is going to be type in time, head down to time stretcher. And you can remember which one it is because it has this little graph symbol on it. Go ahead and press add. Now, when you add this node, it'll automatically create a keyframe. So make sure you are at the very beginning of your timeline. And then from there, go ahead and just press keyframe. We're starting at frame 0. And now let's go ahead and move down the timeline because we want to go to our marker at 10 seconds. And we want the end of this clip to be 10 seconds, which the end of the clip is at frame 820. And it'll just be this little number right here for you. So I'm going to copy that and then paste it right here at 820. And as you can see, it made a keyframe between those two sections. Let's go ahead and look at our spline. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just grab this little yellow handle right here and bring it back because that's as long as I want the clip to be. And if I go ahead and play this, now you can see the entirety of that clip is between frame 0 all the way to 240, which we entered in at frame 820. So 820 is now over on 240. So we've sped up the clip significantly. In order to create your speed ramping, all you need to do is just click right here and you can just create little speed ramps throughout the clip. Every time you click on your spline editor down here, and if you don't have the spline open, click the spline right here. So all you need to do, click on this little tiny spline, add a whole bunch of keyframes, and this will allow you to go ahead and do a whole bunch of cool boomerang effects using the spline editor. Now I'm going to go ahead and just go kind of crazy here. This might be a little bit too much, honestly, but oh well. And now you've done your speed ramping effects. So let's go ahead, head over to the edit page. If it's not rendering very fast for you, come up to playback, render cache, and press smart, and you can go ahead and render out your clip. So let's go ahead and play that back and see what our clip looks like now with the keyframes. That's looking pretty good. Now, it doesn't feel super smooth right now because we haven't easy eased any of those keyframes yet. So now let's go back into Fusion. To easy easies is super easy. All you need to do is highlight all of your keyframes and press S, and now all of your keyframes are easy eased. So let's go ahead and watch that back now on our timeline. And now you can see we have that really cool boomerang effect happening on our clip. Now, this is the secret sauce for me. This is the thing that I love to do in all of my speed ramping is grab all these handles again. We're going to right click go into ease and bring up the dialog box. I like to use the dialog box because it's a little bit more accurate way to actually be doing a lot of the easing. So from here, I'm going to click linear, in and out cubic, and then I'm going to grab these handles and I'm going to pull these over to the side. So what's happening right now is the clip's going to start slow, go really fast in the center, and then slow down. And as I press OK, you'll see that happen to all of these handles on the spline editor. So now you can see all of those are really, really exaggerated. Now, you could do this just using the handles here, but I like using the dialog box because I think it's just a little bit more accurate when you use the dialog box. Okay, let's go ahead and check out our clip now. And now you can see what that did is it really emphasized all of those speed ramps. And now we have this really cool boomerang effect on our character. And so you can use this effect on basically any clip that you want to use. And it's really easy now to come back into Fusion. And if you just want to adjust, if you want to, all you have to do is just adjust these. And now you can change your keyframes really quickly, really easily, and create some really cool boomerang effects. So I'm going to do one that's just kind of like this, where it seems like it's just slowly getting closer and closer. Okay. And bam. And now we've got our new boomerang effect. So now you can really quickly just easily just change those keyframes around and you can create really cool, awesome, fast speed ramping effects. For a bonus tip, if you want to add just a little bit of motion blur, DaVinci is not the greatest when it comes to motion blur. Even some of the plugins that you can find on adding motion blur to speed ramping will really bog down your computer. But what you can do is just turn your interpretation mode into blend, and this will help a lot. And you can also just turn up the sampling just a little bit, and that will help kind of blend those images together a little bit. Another way you could do this is you could just add a directional blur. So I'm going to go ahead and press Shift Spacebar and add a directional blur. When I add that, you can see it creates that. I'm going to go ahead and just strengthen it up a ton, get the angle so it's just on the side because it's kind of ramping from side to side. And then from here, all we're going to do is just keyframe it at the exact same time that the speed ramping was happening. So let's look at our speed ramping. Come over here. There shouldn't be any blur right here. So let's go into our blur and bring this down to 0. Keyframe. Come over right here. The blur should be at its highest. So add some blur. And then once it gets back to this keyframe, bring it back down to 0. And to create that same kind of easing effect, just press S. Go ahead, you can turn off this time source and press S and just add some of that. So now you have that nice directional blur. And of course, you can always just bring that strength down so it's not so intense. And a way to kind of make it look a little bit more realistic is go ahead. I know this is getting a little off topic, but let's go ahead and add an ellipse tool, put it on, press invert. We're going to go ahead and just make sure that it's right on our character because the character is not moving, so the motion blur should only be happening on the sides. And we're just going to really create a nice soft edge around our character, just like this. Really bring up that soft edge, so it's still kind of blurring him just a little bit. And now you can see that blur happens so much more smoothly, and it keeps him nice and in focus. Let's go ahead and just kind of keep playing with this. We can go forward. Most intense part of the graph, I went ahead and just added a keyframe, and I increased the blur a little bit, went forward to at the bottom of the graph of the keyframe, and just turned the blur strength all the way down. And I did that all the way through this graph so that you always kind of have a blur effect when the speed ramp is actually happening. And it stops right when the clip kind of stops to start the boomerang effect that it has. At the peak of speed, and then right here at the bottom, all the way down, come over the center right here because that's the peak of speed. We're going to go ahead and bring that up, and then right here at the very top, we're going to go ahead and bring that down. Now that I have all of these created, what I'm going to do, and there's some of them are bigger and some of them are smaller because of the amount of speed ramping that's actually happening. Your clip will be slightly different. Just kind of play around with it. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab these, and I'm just going to press S. I'm not going to do anything more. I could go into the dialog box and play with it some more, but I'm not going to. I think just doing it that way gives it a really good look. As you can see, just adding a little bit of that directional blur really enhances the look of this clip. Again, I'm gonna keep this ellipse just dead center on him. I could even probably bring it smaller so it's right on him, and I really do. I wanna have this really softened up. I wanna have this very, very soft, so it is creating that really good looking blur. Let's go ahead and look at that on the big screen over here. Let it go ahead and render through. So yeah, you can see how much better that blur actually creates that speed ramping effect inside of DaVinci Resolve. So that's just a really cool like extra tool that you can add to really make these things look fantastic. Cool. Hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial, and well, thank you so much for watching. I truly, truly do appreciate it. Thank you. Love you. Bye.